Right. So, in the last session, we discussed about Java architecture context, like, right? So, what is that? Are we going to cover? What are the different skill sets we require to become a Java solution architect? All that stuff in the last session. Wherein today we are going to discuss about the dimension of Java solution architecture. Because in the last session, if you remember, because you're all whoever is attending now, I could see all are mostly from the Java development side. Anyway, you have, as in when I interacted with you, I come to know that anyway you have very good, strong understanding over the coding part and all. So that hence, that is an additional advantage become a solution architect being into Java part. But when it comes to the implementation of Java solution architecture, normally Java solution architecture will be having three different dimensions. So these are the dimensions which are essentially required whenever we are trying to implement the kind of solution what we are going to develop. So there are different dimensions will be there in context to the solution architecture what we are developing. So the first one is about the infrastructure service dependencies. This is the first uh, dimension we have. This is the first dimension which normally we are having. At the same time, the next dimension about the logical types followed by quality of services. So these are the three different dimensions will be there when we are working on the Java solution architecture, especially when we are implementing solutions, all that. In this regard, it's always important for us to understand about the kind of architectural components which are majorly required, because as in when I'm explaining about the infrastructural services and all, which majorly emphasizes majorly the role of a system services components, like whatever the different system service components are we using. So this is in support to the distributed solutions what we are developing. This is all something comes under the infrastructure service dependencies, wherein whatever the application services or middleware services or platform services, all these things comes under this category. Next, when it comes to the logical types, this majorly focuses more on the logical and as well as physical independencies of the solution component, majorly for the purpose of deploying these ones across networks or different environments what we are performing. So when we are trying to deploy these things, when we are understanding about the kind of components for the purpose of it, we must be knowing about the kind of layers in that, in the logical layer, as in when C, right? It can be of presentation, or it can be client, or it can be presentation, or it can be a business service or data. So these are the different logical layers which will be there in this regard. At the same time, when it comes to the quality of services, which majorly focusing on how are we going to provide the quality of service in context to the requirements, like any non-functional areas relating to availability, security, scalability. Because when we are developing any solution, it's always important for us to understand the non-functional requirements, because non-functional requirements, nothing but as in when I'm mentioning you, because quality of services majorly focusing on the non-functional perspective. Availability, scalability, at the same time, security, reachability, maintainability, right? So load balancing, all these things are comes under this part. So based on that, we come to know how quality of the services you are going to provide in context to the solution you are going to provide. So which majorly understanding about the kind of service quality components are we using. So these are the major things which normally we do it. It can be scalability. Scalability, for example, when we are developing a solution, this must be having a nature of scalability in such a way where it can be used in anywhere across. This is what generally we call it as scalability. Next, when it comes to the security part, as in when we know, like providing high level security for the application in order to protect from any kind of malware attacks and all, everything is required. At the same time, availability, it should be reachable and available to all the people, whoever wants to use it. At the same time, performance must be higher enough. Accuracy in context to the performance, speed, accuracy, all these things must be there. This is where generally software quality attributes we use it, right? So what are the different service quality, software quality attributes are we using? All these things are comes under that category. So that's where generally these performances and all everything come into picture. At the same time, serviceability, because the kind of services are we going to provide in regard to that, in context to that, this is also one of the key and important element wherein we will be taken. So these are the dimensions of Java solution architecture, which normally we will be having, right? So infrastructure service dependencies is the first one, which as I mentioned you, either it can be application or middleware or platform services. At the same time, when it comes to the logical type, majorly focusing on the client or presentation, business services, data, etc. At the same time, when it comes to the quality of services and all, it can be of non-functional by understanding about the quality components, etc. This is where generally it comes under the scalability, security, availability, reachability, all that stuff into consideration. Right, so this is all about this, and tomorrow I'm going to discuss about the first one, which is about the first dimension, which is called infrastructure service dependencies. Because majorly we need to, if you need to understand about infrastructure service dependencies and all that, it's always important for us to understand about the kind of operating system platforms, whatever are we using. At the same time, we must be knowing about the network transportation. At the same time, we must be knowing about the persistence, followed by the kind of messaging what we have, or the runtime, or security policies, right? So all these things we need to understand from the infrastructure service dependencies point of view when we are going to provide solution architecture, especially on Java applications. So this part followed by logical types and quality of services and all that we are going to discuss in tomorrow's session. Okay. See you then.